Thank you for checking in. It's Glenn Lyvers with Prolific Press and some of my favorite poets. This is the gently delayed but much anticipated May 2025 poetry reading. And we're going to kick things off with Mike Flanagan, please.
Well, hi, this is Mike Flanagan in Minnesota, and I've got a couple Tonka prose to read. Um, First one is the title is "Oh Death, Where Is Thy Sting?" And there it goes. This is a story I was told. The wife had passed, and her casket was balanced on the best chairs in the good room of the farmhouse. Her husband of 62 years stood beside the casket, waiting for the neighbors to arrive. Father arrived, blessed the casket, after which mourners began walking in. The old man quickly leaned over and grabbed his wife's shoulder and shouted, wake up, we have visitors. Death is hard, but even in darkness, a light can often be found. The hard part is being able to look. And the other one is Songs in the Night. I suffer from earworms, those bits of song that run, really more ants than worms, through your mind. Wise people have told me that the cure is to let the song run until it's done, then it'll go away. It doesn't work for me because I don't know any complete songs, just fragments. So I suffer in silence, except when I hum along with myself. Claire de Lune, a man with a violin in the parking lot with a sign, please help.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was great. I got earwormed today by a song from a musical, the Suddenly Seymour. Then down beside you. That song, my wife was singing it, and I was like, "Oh no, I'll never get that out of my mind." So, what a relatable poem! Just love that. KB.
Okay. Did am I mistaken, or did you have the ekphrastic notice for us?
That was for today, yeah, but it's
It was for
optional.
today. Okay, good, because I actually have something if I can find which tab it is. Okay. Um, Lots of things to open and close. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, now I have to find Zoom again. There I am. Okay. All right. So, do you see The Depths of the Sea by Sir Edward Burne-Jones?
I do.
Okay, great. All right, this is a pantoum from my first book called Gathering Stones. The Siren's Song. Curlews and gulls carve the wind and land on rocky ledges, sheltered from the gusts that shock your tar and timber haven. Above, the blue for you has resolved to gray, threatening. Wavelets rough the sea's surface, lobster boats plying for Karna's shore. Sheltered from the gusts that shock your tar and timber haven, I hear your shouts, a tinny sound among the snarl of surf. Wavelets rough the sea's surface, lobster boats plying for Karna's shore, as I watch from swirling water, roll with each surge, revel in the danger. I hear your shouts, a tinny sound among the snarl of surf. You left it too late, too far out. Boards splinter and crack. I watch from swirling water, roll with each surge, revel in the danger. Waves trampling toward the stony coast, gritty with salt. You left it too late, too far out. Boards splinter and crack. My world vibrates in constant rhythm with the heaving tide, waves trampling toward the stony coast, gritty with salt. My scales reflect rainbows on rock-ribbed reefs and pulsing kelp. My world vibrates in constant rhythm with the heaving tide. The cold, the stinging salt soak your lungs as you enter my liquid chamber, my scales reflecting rainbows on rock-ribbed reefs and pulsing kelp, my embrace as rimy as the sea that surrounds you. The cold, the stinging salt soak your lungs as you enter my liquid chamber. Bubbles suspend, cease to rise as we descend to my grainy bed. My embrace is as rimy as the sea that surrounds you. I will lay you down beside the others until currents summon me to the surface. Bubbles suspend, cease to rise as we descend to our grainy bed. Above, the blue for you has resolved to gray, threatening. I will lay you down beside the others until currents summon me to the surface when curlews and gulls carve the wind and land on rocky ledges. I don't feel too bad because I don't normally read that long.
Oh, that was great.
Thanks. And then we all familiar with Nighthawks, I'm sure. So that is, and I don't know how to keep it there. Can I keep this there, but then go to something else myself or not?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this. I think
Polish.
so, yeah. I do it sometimes. It does work.
Okay, do you still see Nighthawks?
We do.
Okay, good. So I don't normally do humor, but I tried. So that last poem was from my first book in 2006. So here we are, these many decades later, and this is called Nightbirds after viewing Edward Hopper's Nighthawks. Nighthawks and nightingales rise in darkness, but dawn raptures me from the ash of night, blessed by all that's not in shadow, in moonlit beams. I want bees to sing around the daisies bright, bluebirds feathering the feeders. Sunlight serves my brain and heart. The shimmer and sheen of sable and blue-black wings I will never see. I regret I'll be asleep. Thanks. That's all I have for
I'm
today.
still here. Just sorry about that. Okay, very good. I do love that particular piece too. There's something about that, because I don't know what it is. It's like there's this tension when you are looking at somebody and they don't know it, right? So there's a picture of people just like, and then you wonder like, what are they talking about? What are they doing? And you're truly like the spectator, and artwork that does that, it has a certain draw, I just think it's great. Not that I would want all pieces to be like that, but that's just really interesting. Thank you for sharing that one. Wonderful. Therese, please. You have to unmute yourself.
I have an unusual one because I saw your theme and I have something, but I don't have the pictures, but they're very famous pictures. I'm sorry, wrong one. Oh, geez. Wait a second. Here we go.
You,
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we have somebody coming in. Can you just wait for one moment?
Of course. Can everybody see this ecstatic triptych? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't sure I picked the right one.
She's a little slow. Debbie's coming in, so I want her to be able to see your poem.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hmm. There we go. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's just a compilation of my experiences with art. So this is called ecstatic triptych. Representations are forgeries, simple reminders of the encounter. I turned, caught off guard by the power of the fire set down and oiled by Gauguin. His Tahitian ladies never commanded my attention. The woman's power emerged with the strength of an iceberg, knocking me off my balance. Unlike the copies that never moved me with one-dimensional representations and non-interesting revelations, now I see she is alive as me. This icon predisposed me like a siren song chanting, "We all belong, we are one, come in and see my entrance to the deity." Investing himself with his paint, we encounter Gauguin's spirit filling her face. I give homage for this grace as I see this experience is now alive within me. The cost of conveying meaning. While at the Vatican Exposition, I whirled around and seeing Caravaggio's deposition, I almost fell to the ground, completely losing my position. As Caravaggio leaned into his canvas, he elevated this scene. Intuition and imagination took hold, broke loose, profuse in its impact. This brutal force with sorrow felt abuse of love when all is said, and so he bled. Through Caravaggio's expertise, this dread of humanity, their own self-hatred, is now released. Erotica swelling within his body, his blood and sweat meshed with paints and canvas, now are made flesh, disordering the ordered to see. Now, with abstractions, we feel compelled to see a story, yet their allure is to transcend the ordinary. Confronted with immediacy, in the silence we can see. Like gigantic icons engaging our unconscious, we come away with far more than before. Leaving the known now for grander things, giving up what familiarity is hinged upon, make space, the great unknown awaits us. What comes to voice through abstract artists, Frere Eric de Saussure and Rothgau, too, brought abstractions to voice in their heavenly hues with no repetition, a cosmic search, no definition. Their delight was to disorder the ordered of the familiar, open up the breadth of space, guide us. Art, the transcendent ladder to the Creator. How is it I can breathe? I see their paintings hanging there. They reach those in the grip of despair with hope. There's more. What makes art art is not simply their composition. This is the case with the deposition and Gauguin too, both incarnating their very selves for me to see these treasures, the measure of their love for all humanity. And then there are abstractions, so misunderstood. If only we could spend some time with them, we'd feel the artist enter us and transform our very inner space. For art is an encounter with grace. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we're finished, or do I say another poem, or that's it?
No, you go ahead. Pick
Okay.
another one. That'd be wonderful. That was great. Thank
Uh,
you for that.
Thanks. Well, I, I'm not trying to market, but my new book called Pearl of the Cosmos. I don't know if I have it up. If I don't, I won't read it. No, I don't. I don't think I have it up. Wait, nope, nope, nope. Oh yeah, I do have it up. Okay, so it's called Pearl of the Cosmos, the Rosary, and they're very influenced by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, evolution, and so forth. And so each mystery is a poem. And so I'm just going to read one that, thank good for you. That's only one. I'll read, because for us in our church, the coming of the Holy Spirit is this Sunday. I'll read that one, the coming of the Holy Spirit. The ripening of the seed within ignited for the work of our communion. And there's lots of paintings depicting this. Stark, empty darkness, nothing, awkward, frightened, sorrowful, nothing, nothing. From my being, desire, from my burning desire, a spark of light begins to fill my inner being. I see a translucent state in my friends, while at the gate hundreds await. What had we to say this day? Nothing, nothing. Then a slow rumbling accompanies the light from the ground of my being, seeing each of us engaged, and still the rumbling with nothing to say. The wind encircles us. We gather close in our fear. Is he him? Is he near yet, my son? Standing afraid to be alone, forgotten are the promises and encouragement not to fear. But is he near really? We gather together, waiting. We wait for direction, but only the wind and the light within growing ever bright. Nothing, nothing. Now music, like a celestial choir within, then fanned by the wind, rising as tongues above us afire. Throw open the door. Console those who await some meaning. Now they are seeing the fire resting above our heads, and my beloved spirit whispers in my very being, move ahead. A fusion of power. In our confusion, we lead each other out of doors in response to the crowd's questions that somehow now reside in our very being without seeing each of them. Are we one body? They came from distant lands, and we understood their language, transcending those words now heard in our body. Is the divide repaired? Is atonement complete? Celebrating in songs and hymns, now we pray. Out of nothing, the unsayable is heard. Consoling, instructing as we make our way to a new day, a new birth, our mind, body, and spirit cohere. Now, embodied speech appears, and we teach and celebrate in songs and hymn. We say something more within each of us has gathered us as one and leads our way. Jesus, raised in celestial splendor, calls for the great surrender to love. Now together we open the gates inside where the spirit of love resides and guides our being, seeing with eyes that transcend the clamor of the mind that hides the storehouse in embodied language, our true perfection, with the light and wind showing us a new direction. The love we shared and brought to birth will one day raise my being too from earth. I will share my life and strength in each of you to calm your fears, guiding you to our celestial home where you will never be alone. I am your mother. Will you pray with me? That's it. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
I like the ending of that too. I am your mother. Will you pray with me? This is a safe place for religious poems and from any faith. You know, had some really beautiful Buddhist poems in this group, and I always appreciate people of faith, and of course mending your art with that's wonderful. Tennis.
Yes, sir. I've got two ekphrastic poems. It's possible that I might have read these to this group in past months or years, but I think that I do not remember. So
That's okay.
white-faced kabuki Humpty Dumpty stretches, grows long, mantis arms and legs, transforms from jolly egg to demon yokai. And number two, breezes jostle clusters of bull thistles, switchgrass, and jimson weeds. Feral heirloom hollyhocks sway, rap against the faded paint of shiplap siding. In play with the winds, stained calico curtains become signal flags, flapping in blind second-story windows. Tiny talon pigeon feet tap dance in the attic. Their blue-gray wings flutter in a cappella harmony. A solitary rocker waits on the front porch. Sun-bleached oak bones turn to ash gray. Gusts whistle through broken-toothed porch latticework, slither around curlicue-carved columns to bat the rocker. Its twin dusty runners exhale double mouse squeaks as they move back and forth. The rocking teases up memories of red yarn-haired Raggedy Ann dolls, flowered sundresses, lemonade, and sugar cookies.
Thank you for that. That was really nice. You guys are all becoming experts too at being able to use the screen and turn it off, turn it on. I've only learned anything I ever knew about this Zoom product from being in this group. All right. Very, very nice. Well done. Let's move to Lynette.
Oh, this is Lynette Esposito from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Rainy, New Jersey.
Mhm.
I have two. In the octopus garden, in the midnight zone where there is no light, pearl octopus mothers nest, lay their eggs in the quiet of the deep. The volcano vents breathe warm currents to soothe the unborn pearls protected by their mothers. Almost 2 years in the incubation spa, the mothers wait, watching. They do not eat, gaze out into the blackness. Then look downward to see if the young ones break their shells. Then up again to see them rise. When all is done, hatch babies, seek upper regions of the ocean. The mothers close their eyes. And the second one is for spring, early March. When spring comes, frost ghost new grass blades. Flowers hold their breath, shiver, waiting until the chill has passed. Then open their blooms beneath the warm sun, unafraid. That's it.
Thank you. All right. Moving right along. So I think that's a Sesame Street song or a Muppet song. Edward Ahern, please.
Okay. I also have two poems. The first is not an ekphrastic. For some reason, there we are. But I'm sure you'll appreciate its significance. It's called The Poem I Am. No poet is as distilled as his poem, for he starts with a witch's brew of dissolved loves and soluble hates, of sour logic and sickly sweet biases, leavened with too few herbs of truth. And from that frothing yellow foam, he ladles out curds streaked with vague semblances of significance, and on that pulpy mass sprinkles words. And the second one actually is an ekphrastic. This is based, it needs a tiny bit of backstory. I spent probably the better part of 30 years fishing up in Canada with a guide named Irving who died some while ago. And this is kind of an homage to him. And these are not actually his hands, but they may as well be because they look like this. The grip. His fingers were always half cupped, the nails dirty, horny, and split, the knuckles overlarge and gnarled. He perched his hands in his lap as if lifting them was a chore. Those hands were the sigil of his life, abused by weather and rough work. But then he stood up in the boat, picked up his fly rod and cast, line undulating like a dancer, his calloused palm and fingers caressing the weathered cork, and I understood that this, at least, was still his to enjoy, hands whole enough for grace.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now to the always effervescent Gloria Caviglia. Oh, you have to unmute. There
Okay,
you go.
there we go. Well, I decided to do something funny. I'm going to see if I can share this picture with you. I don't know if I can. Gosh, let's see. Well, there's two of them. Okay, so this is how do you do that? Not really sure. Let's see. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know how to
Go to the
get
bottom of the
show.
screen. There's a green button that says share.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then you select the screen that you want to share.
Yeah. Of course, now hang on, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Take your time.
Taking way too much time here.
No.
Okay, let's see.
Everybody, we all have time.
Okay. Oh yeah, it says share. Okay. But I want it to come from a photo. So let's see if I can get that photo in here. Did I do it? No, I don't think so.
Do you want to take a minute and I'll just
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know what?
No problem.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to do it because I don't think.
Oh, I think something's happening.
Yeah,
No.
but
I'm not quite there yet. I'll tell you what, I
Yeah.
want to read a couple from my book that I never read, and then we'll just
Okay.
give you
Yeah.
a couple of minutes. These aren't ekphrastic, as I didn't really prepare for today because I was sick. But this one is called Richard Corbin. And then he heard it again through protesting gate opening to the graveyard. Police lined up for a mile with black badges and news crews. Richard Corbin was a high school bully turned bully with a badge. Like the others, eventually the cars left, and the diggers quickly finished the sunny task. And later he retold the story to the guys at the bar who knew Dick. That moron broke down the door and got shot in the head, which is what happens when you break down enough doors. Something is wrong with the surprise and the fanfare, and with jailing the frightened shooter who had a gun, too. And then this one is called Sugared Silence of a Child. When I was 7, I asked my grandmother about the dying. There was something the others were not telling me. Even a child knows. Her hands turned to iron. She grabbed me roughly and forced a sugar cube into my mouth, sealing my lips tightly with her shaking hands. As the sugar burst, I knew the truth. The dying is closer every time you ask. Hey, that's from Bert Umber. I have ekphrastics in here, but I've already read them all in the group greedily in past readings. Gloria, would you like to continue?
Yeah, I cannot, I can't figure
Sure.
it out
Well,
because
you know what?
I've
Just
got it on
read
my
the
thing.
read
All
just
right,
read
so
the poems and you can post the pictures to the group later if you want.
okay, I don't think I can, but at any rate, I decided to dig up um, a book that I had written 10 years ago. It's a memoir and it's a funny kind of book. So I chose to do something funny. And unfortunately, the photograph is a photo of a very old stove. So this is a chapter from my memoir, um, The Pork Chop in the Window. And I wish I could share that with you too, but I fortunately can't get to my screen to do that. But anyway, this is chapter one. It's entitled Funerals. Ever since I can remember, dying meant fried veal cutlets. Immediately following the news that someone had bit the big one, the aunts, all 5 of them, would go into high gear frying mode as soon as my cousin made the pilgrimage down the street to the butcher for the best grain fed veal. Then the assembly line frying would begin. One aunt would dip the veal cutlet into the egg, and another would dip it into the breadcrumbs. It would then be ceremoniously dropped into the cast iron frying pan's olive oil, browned on both sides, and drained on a paper towel that had been placed on a plate. They'd make a mountain of veal cutlets, and the histrionics that ensued during this process are etched into my mind forever. For example, when my cousin died of a rare cancer after serving as a Marine in Vietnam, one of my aunts swore it was because the food he'd eaten wasn't clean. And so she got the idea that all food needed to be washed. So the veal cutlets were washed before they got dipped, breaded, and fried. I am not kidding. She washed everything fish, meat, poultry, everything got douched. That was my sister's word for it. The aunts were also firm believers in vinegar. They even polished the furniture with a solution of vinegar and water. Mom's douching the furniture, is what my sister would say. Of course, we, my parents, siblings, and I, lived an hour and a half away from this three-ring circus of clowns, and I would have a hard time waiting until the calling hours and the funeral were over to enjoy the veal cutlets. It was killing me that the cousins were already there, diving in. And I will stop right there.
That's fun.
Thank you.
It really felt like, we were suddenly have this picture of you in this group of people that, are busy and doing things. And that was just wonderful. You really put people in the scene. I thought that was great. Would you like to do another one? Not today. Okay, very good. Thank you, Gloria. That was just really enjoyable. That whole high gear frying mode got me. I almost laughed out loud, and it's tough because my mic's always open. Francis Lavin.
Greetings from Sparks, Nevada, everyone. I'm ekphrastic free, so there will be no pictures and nothing profound, but maybe the first one will form a picture in your head. The first one is called Marsh Madness. Late arrivals, the red-winged blackbirds are making up for lost time. Their ardent trilling fills the morning air with sweet expectation. The frogs are quiet now, spent from a night of amphibian abandon. Soon the summer pond will be full of tadpoles from their cold couplings. Not much for orgies. The beavers are hard at work plugging the holes in their dam left by the meddling muskrats. Dueling drakes keep the mallards in a raucous uproar. Avoiding the bedlam, a pair of coots seeks the sanctuary of sedges. Quail coveys skitter about, making jungle sounds belying their size. With their top knots bobbing in disarray, they look frenetic and silly. For her part, my dog is asserting her manifest destiny, one pee at a time. And the second poem is Moe's Man. If for those of you fortunate enough never happen to have any, Moe's is a procedure where they sort of layer by layer take skin off your face to remove cancer, usually of a not dangerous kind. But this is called Moe's Man. Sitting here freezing in the patient's chair, I'm anchored by inertia and dread. The assistant is quite pretty, but I must keep my eyes closed. I hear the rattling of instruments as my nose is reduced slice by slice. I feel sudden heat. The cauterization has begun. What a surprise. I thought that I would smell, well, more like bacon. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. That's that kind of morose humor. I'm with you. That's great. Very, very funny. James Bethel, please.
Thank you, Glenn. I've got three, and they're all in the ekphrastic genre in the broader sense of that term. This first one was prompted by a series of images of the paintings in Lascaux's cave. It's called Asphalt Civilization. A full winter moon howls toward the west from behind the mountain where the sun will rise 14 hours from now. A cold night to be followed tomorrow by clouds and snow. Deer on the east slope across the valley stare into the occasional headlights, leaving silver river ribbons burned into retinas blinded to our asphalt civilization and my little cabin. Dawn stills their confusion, making it safer hour by hour from those wolves whose solos and chorales name the howling moon. They know, the deer know, and after many, many moons, I've come to know that this howling is mutual, the rising and falling of a choreographed dance as ancient as Lascaux's cave. This one was prompted by an advertisement in a supermarket for a cosmetic product. And the title of it is Genetic Pornograph. On an acne-covered sidewalk, lovers stroll in an acid rain. Jontu and Aramis hand in hand, rarely eye to eye, wondering what they're about to do. Innocence awaits its demise. Looking forward across baby love's soft cosmetic counters, pheromones link to hormones and count beyond consciousness to the quantum leap into the ecstasy to come. To come from the army green jacket, wet t-shirt, blue jean video moment of innocence awaiting its demise. And this one is a very odd prompt. I was in a library, and there was this beautiful clock um, on the attendant's desk, and it prompted this poem. The title of it is Beauty Sometimes. On the threshold of no man's land, to no man's land nor no woman's world, there is no entree, let alone progress. Standing long outside, and now long enough, my return from the world behind this world has not changed much. This world has not always been chaos. You, we, I invented it. Sometimes beauty is all that is needed. Sometimes. Now, this story has been told so often for a long time. I've lost track, and I'm not the only teller. I've also lost count of the number of libraries I have filled. Once upon a time, well, it happened once, poems wrote themselves. Losing track of time so many times, unaccounted for, has made little difference between when and whenever the last time was. Maybe the next time will be different. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next time that happens for me.
Right, exactly. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and being incredibly patient.
Yeah, I've had a couple haiku that happened with. Sometimes the small ones are the hardest ones. Doug
Yeah,
Van Hooser.
Hi, everyone. It's a beautiful day in Wisconsin. I tried to rise to the ekphrastic humor aspect here today. So if I can conquer the screen share, we'll see what we can do here. Am I in screen share mode?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You gotta click the green
Yeah, I
share
clicked
button.
once, but didn't happen apparently.
Should pop up with a little choice of what screen. There, it's coming. It's coming out. Oh, that's quite nice.
There we go.
Mhm.
This is one of my No One Said poems. No one said, you will have a series of 12-year marriages. Benny, Tiger, Bernice, and Stella all wag their way into my life. Their ice cream cone joy, mooing eyes, licking loyalty. Bernice loved a lounge chair of snow, for Benny going AWOL but always reporting back for duty. Tiger taught graduate level begging. Stella launched like a torpedo off the pier, climbed the ladder like an old telephone lineman, and like an old scratched LP, repeat, repeat, repeat. For sweethearts, I never bought a Valentine's card, whose gifts were unleashed, whose memories are table scrap treats. Never a divorce, their ashes nap on the mantle. I've decided to not marry again, to be dogless, which is how my immigrant Italian mother-in-law pronounced Douglas. Her daughters forbade her calling me dog. I told her, call me Connie. That's how you pronounce dog in Italian. All right. Let's try this again now.
I know, Gloria, that graduate level begging, that line. Oh, that just hits you great, especially if you're a dog person.
All right, I think we're there, right?
Yes. Ice fishing.
You got it. Another no one said poem. No one said, be happy with 2 sunfish, 1,000 bone, 18-inch northern, and no walleye. The hut is 15 degrees, beer frozen, lawn chairs squawking like gulls, but you got to shoot the shit. Yeah, it splattered everywhere. That happens when you lob political turds like water balloons. But there were laughs about babbling Janice, the queen of Tom's Tap, and how she flirts like a puppy as she sidles against you with her plum plumpness, fishing for a free beer. And how one night, String Bean Bobby imbibed a 6-pack aphrodisiac and granted her wish of wishes, and then hibernated for 6 months. How Vinny's Italian immigrant mother in the landline phone era could not comprehend crank calls and, unfamiliar with the word brick, told the lewd caller, I no need a big brick. My house got aluminum siding. Whatever that caller was fishing for, he failed the net. Bodies repeat tales that always wag them, float like butterflies on the constant jabs, and bear the bee sting of words that punch like Ali. Biting wind, chattering teeth, bobbing bobbers, eyes hooked on a hole in the ice. And one more time here. Got one more. That didn't work. This one's entitled, Who? Me? What did you expect? Whipped cream? Yeah, I found the key baked in the cake. Write the poem, then find the inspiration. The first time I worked backwards from the answer was in high school chem. Given keys to the chemical safe by Mr. Ebling to mix reagents for the lab, I found unburied treasure between the sulfuric acid and ammonium nitrate. Answers to the experiments written on a note card. So I strung organic equations caboose to engine. Start with the answer and end with the question. A few years after graduation, home on Christmas break, there were the science teachers imbibing the labeled experiments of malted grain, hops, water, and yeast at the bar and grill called the office. 4 beers in, I confess to Ebling. He nods and smiles, says, not surprised. I remember, you add and subtract left to right. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Doug. Very, very nice. Okay. It's Mary Cook's turn. She's
Thank
still
you.
here. Oh, there you are. Hi, Mary.
I'd forgotten that this was supposed to be ekphrastic, so I was racing through the internet trying to find a picture of of the poem, but I found it now, so I apologize to those that I was racing through the picture for. So if you can see this, you can see all that?
Sure. Yep.
You see the sculpture here that comes down? You see the triangles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the Harvard Museum's atrium there. And that's what my poem is about. But now I'm going to stop share that one and put the poem in a second. Okay. This is in the atrium at the Harvard Museums. Carlos Amarales, where's the wand to ring those chimes? Your graceful mobile inches through the courtyard. Dangling silver pendants hang from measured limbs, hooked and bent so triangles can't touch. Tease us into wondering if a strong breeze, a deep breath, might cause a pair to clash and make a sound so joyful that we'd stand and climb on tables and on shoulders using pens, umbrellas, iPads, or our phones, bang on these trinities till we could hear the angels bing, ding, ring, sing. So that's the first poem. And the second one is the poem I had chosen when I didn't remember the acrostic poem. So here's this one. It's a spring poem, though, called Lifting the Blankets. Today the arborvitae lost their blankets. I cut the tangled twine that bunched the branches under cozy shelter, hoped that folding back the burlap wasn't premature. How green they are against the weathered wall. The April sunshine prompted me to free them, but will this fickle month allow them growth without their covers, when a windy gust could usher in a snowstorm that would bury them, its weight misshaping tender boughs? I stand behind the window watching, hoping that the sun will soften little branchlets, so they bend into the gale, not stiffen with resistance, splinter to the earth, turn and wither winter brown again. It's hard to know just when to lift the blankets of the young. To lift them early makes them vulnerable to tempests, ice, and rain. Too late will smother them, distort their supple limbs, deprive them of the sun and breeze. I had to choose, so chose to lift them early.
Lift them early. Very nice.
That's it.
Very nice tempo. I noticed that the cadence of those pieces really mirrored each other in the speed which they went. It kind of feels like a collection, like they belong together. At least in that way. Very nice. Thank you, Mary. John. Oh, you have to unmute yourself, my
Yes, I
friend.
have a three, none of which are on the subject because if I get to read the third one, it explains a little. At the pinnacle, I'm not awed by celebrities. It's not that I've known many to hang out with, but my work as a technology writer led me to them. I interviewed William F. Buckley and Dan Berrigan on the use of computers and interviewed Steve Jobs and Bill Gates many times. Further, luck had me wander into a party where I did not belong in the private club of the owner of the New York Mets during the 1969 World Series. There I hobnobbed with Gordon McCrae, Pearl Bailey, Casey Stengel, Weeb Eubank, and a lot of sports luminaries. Additionally, my oldest friend, former Newsweek Vietnam correspondent Kevin Buckley, was married to Lena Horne's daughter, Gail Lumet Buckley. I went to many parties in the New York City apartment and talked to many famous writers and theatrical people. Still awed by no one, until I was walking across the living room and I heard a voice behind me. I froze. My God, that's Lauren Bacall. We didn't talk, but we nodded at Lena's funeral. It was enough. And then one that's rather different. The AI boat is leaving the dock, directed by John F. McMullen. If you're not in the AI boat, you're anchored in the past, watching the future unfold through a foggy glass, adrift in a sea of progress yet to set sail, clinging to the shores of old where businesses fail. The horizon calls with vision so grand, where minds meld with code and dreams expand. Bits and bytes dance in a digital ballet, drifting a new world in a binary array. Join the voyage or be left in a wake. The AI boat sails on a future limit. I said directed rather than just by because I directed Microsoft's Copilot, which can be downloaded as an app. I have it on both my iPhone and my Windows 11 laptop, to write a poem on the importance of getting into AI before it makes you obsolete. Now, for me, people familiar with my poetry know I don't write rhyme poetry, so I gave Copilot new instructions to write a short, unrhymed poem on the same subject. The AI trained speeds relentless. Opportunity boards, hesitation lags. Missed it? The world turns unforgiving, adapted or fade, for progress waits for none. I could, of course, modify this myself or give Copilot new instructions, or just write the whole goddamn poem myself. And the last is a short one that explains some of the things that are going on. My vow. It's 6 months, half a year since my self-caused accident. In that time, I've had surgery, spent 5 days in a hospital, spent 100 days in a rehab facility, had 3 months of home therapy, and I still hobble around using devices. But now I'm getting out of the house and do therapy at my sports club, also exercising at home. I know that my 50 years of half-court basketball, jump shots, and hard drives to the basket are long over. They were over before the accident, after I'm 85 years old, but I was just for 85. So my vow is that by the anniversary of the accident, November 10th, I'll be a spry 85, walking around on my own 2 legs and pre-accident cane with no walker, rollator, or wheelchairs. And it's up to you to hold me to it. And the cane was due to a 20-year-old basketball accident. Thank you for putting up with me.
Very nice. My dad turned 84 yesterday, and it looks to me like you, my friend, are doing great. All right. Well, our last reader. Our last reader, Debbie Walker Lass. Last but not least.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hello, everyone. Thanks for letting me come in late, Glenn. I wasn't as late as I thought I would be.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
I'm going to try to share my screen. Let's see. This one. Oh, can y'all see that? No? It says I'm
It's coming. It's coming. It'll just take a second, probably.
Okay.
Depends on the speed of your connection and all
Yeah.
those things. All right. Oh, I do. I see a painting on a website.
Okay, that's what I wanted you to see. Okay. So I decided to write a Michigan poem and a Frastic poem. And I put in snowbound, and up came, snowmobiles. So I said, okay, I can relate to that. And I wrote this little high bun poem about snowmobiles, etc. It's called Just North of Normal, High Bun. My town, you could say, was a one-horse town, but that wouldn't be the whole truth because there are always people with horses in any small town in the Midwest. Usually, though, either the people or the horses are nearly starving. We can't be all comfortable at once. It's an unwritten rule in these kinds of towns. Comfort, in fact, is frowned upon. A needless indulgence. What are you going to do? Have your cake and eat it too? I still don't know what that means, although I've heard it 100 times. It's one of the things they ask you growing up in a town like mine. One thing you could buy without compunction, ostentation be damned, were snowmobiles. The bigger, the better, even if they were financed like a house or a car. Snowmobiles were exempted in the indulgence department. Snowmobiles and anything required for hunting. Guns, deer stands, leather boots, camo jackets, bullets, thermal long johns, only the best income or credit could buy. In both hunting and snowmobile excursions, although not strictly encouraged, drinking was, wink wink, often incorporated into both on the sly. In fact, both snowmobiles and deer stands probably had cup holders before Detroit had the idea to even put them in cars. Oh, and the bars. Bars were where you ran tabs, not only for drinks, but also burgers and fries for the whole family. Best of all was to drive your snowmobile to the bar, eat, have a few drinks, and arrive, alive and half frozen, home. There were those that were killed, of course. There was always the odd accident whereby a snowmobile race resulted in a death, or someone hit a deer, or someone in a camo jacket was mistaken for a deer. I guess you would have to be there. Once in a while, someone's dad was driving home from the bar, and took a hard left, tumbling into a Michigan ditch, breaking their blue-collar neck on the way down. All of these things happened in that kind of town. Don't even get me started on ice fishing, Doug. Regular people in a snowbound place dying to get out. So there's a little humor, although it's,
That was good.
like kind of sarcastic. And I'll close that part. And then let's see. I've been working on some stentos lately, and two have recently been published in the Aphrastic Journal, one in the Gallardo Challenge and one in the Donna Lee Challenge. And this one I haven't sent anywhere or anything, but I thought you all might be interested in this because this cento is made up from poems by prolific poets. So it's called Dreaming Forward. Throw my ashes to the wind and let them gather there. Whispers of reclamation in dark, deep quiet. We are a river of light flowing, adrift in the middle of tomorrow, suspended on waters of faith and hope, calmed and storm-tossed endlessly. And the poets that contributed to that were Darrell Willis, T.L. Todd, Richard Weaver, John Simmons, Mara Fine, and Leonard Lunt. So
Leonard Lunt. Interesting.
They're older, prolific poets, but I really enjoyed writing that one. And I wanted to do one more if I can pull it up real quick. It is from the Gallardo Challenge. And the Gallardo Challenge, although I don't have it on my screen sharing, is on the Aphrastic Journal Challenges very recently. And I'll try again, y'all. I can't promise, but I can get it. Oh, I know I can get it from the website. Y'all have time for this or no?
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Cento, by the way, has two different it's really not very common, but it has two different sort of aspects to it, one with a C and one with an S. It's cento and cento. And one of them is lines from various poems, and the other one consists of different lines that have the word I feel, or based on the theme I feel. I believe that's right.
I'm going to challenge myself to do one of those. This was the Gallardo Challenge. You probably can't see it on my phone, but
yeah,
it was very kind of strange looking. It's a woman in three different poses, and this artist actually dresses like this and takes pictures of herself. And mine is called Weary Angel Cento. And I just thought that it was appropriate for that, but see, it's not coming up. I am very sorry. Thank you for indulging me.
No problem. Go ahead and take a minute to find that, and I'll just add that the prompt for next month. So we're going to do the theme heating up. So something that's changed from hot to cold. There's a lot of symbolism with the word heat, can mean a lot of different things. But heating up, that's going to be the theme, although it is optional.
Okay. And I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't get it up. It's a good one though. It's only like 5 lines, so if anybody has time to read it, please go to the Aphrastic Challenges. And if you go to past challenges, the Aphrastic Review, Aphrastic Challenges, if you go to past challenges, there are pictures of all the way back, all of the different challenges. And if you touch the one with the weird looking lady with the three different poses. You can read my Weary Angel Cento. And
Oh, wonderful.
I'm
If
sorry I
you,
couldn't bring it up.
oh, well, I really would like to see it. If you, I don't mean to burden you, but if you could
No.
swing by our Facebook page when I post this video and stick a
Okay.
link in there so we can go look, because I really want to
I
see
will
that.
definitely do that. It's usually not so difficult to find, but because I'm trying to find it, it's very difficult for me to find it. So
Okay.
I
Well, thank you
apologize.
all the people on YouTube and Facebook and my webpage and wherever you found us. Thanks for watching, and make sure you come back on the 28th of next month, which will, well, this month, because that was a gently delayed May. The next one will be June the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope to have all of the same poets and even more. So we'll see you all there, and God bless everybody.